Analyse your FPL season with the most comprehensive artificial intelligence tools only on fantasyfootballfix.com. Compare your statistics against the elite managers in the game using 10 unique tools combined with Opta data. Check fantasyfootballfix.com pre-season now and review your season data using the most powerful artificial intelligence platform. Click the link below or head over to fantasyfootballfix.com/preseason for analysis on your 2018-19 season. What's up guys and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, JNO, and welcome to another episode where I look at the promoted teams and some of their star players to see if they are worth considering for FPL 2019-2020 season. So if this is something you want to see on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell and that like button. All of those things support the channel massively. And also check out the first link in the description, Fantasy Football Fix, which is one of the only places you can get this data on the newly promoted sides to see if they are worth putting into your FPL sides. Also, if you want to check out Norwich midfielders, then do go check out FPL Nimfria's channel. She will be covering Norwich midfielders. Tell her JNO sent you, and let's get on with the video. So, while we looked at Aston Villa and I thought, I've pulled the short straw here doing forwards and defenders. With Norwich, I definitely haven't, because there is one player that has stood out at Norwich. I'm sure a lot of you know of him, but if you don't, his name is Pukki. 6.5 million is the estimated price for him when he comes into the Fantasy Premier League game. And for a promoted side with a striker, 6.5 million is quite a high price to be given, and that is usually given to players that have had a very good season in the Championship, and Pukki definitely comes under that category. Last season, Pukki got 29 goals and 11 assists for 40 goal contributions in total from 142 shots inside the box, 57 of those coming from inside the target, and 57 shots being on target as well, with an expected goals of 26.59. He beat that by over 2 goals. And he also created 52 chances for his teammates. Only 11 of them were big chances, which we'd like to see that number a little bit higher, but that is literally the only number in his stats that was a little bit disappointing as I was reading through them. So Pukki is a player that comes in with the type of form in his previous season where we have to consider him for our FPL sides. We saw what the likes of Raul Jimenez did at promoted Wolves. While I don't think Norwich are the same as a promoted Wolves, and Raul Jimenez of course was loaned in for Wolverhampton, I do think Pukki is the type of player that could have a successful season depending on what kind of side Norwich build around him, and it's definitely one to consider as a cheap budget striker. If we go to the Fantasy Football Fix website, we can see he is a very busy man around the box. This amount of dots is stupid. It would take you ages to try and cover each individual dot to see what happened with Teemu Pukki. And if you want to dive into the stats even more so, you can quite easily see his attacking stats as well as his distribution stats if you want to get into those chances created and how well he's played in more detail. As we can see on the average attacking radar, however, it is that big chances created that really seems to let him down. Stops that from being a nice diamond looking shape, instead has some really big indent in it. And then on the average distribution radar, you can quite easily see that pass completion is decent for a striker, as well as touches quite high as well, but everything else slightly lower as far as distribution. But he's still got 11 assists, which has to be remembered. We then move on defenders, and I cannot recommend this guy as strongly as Pukki. However, 4.5 million Maximillian Aarons is the guy I'm recommending from their defence. Now, this isn't going to read like Pukki. It's not going to be a Matt Doherty coming to the Premier League or anything like that. But Aarons at 4.5 million will be a cheap defender to have in your side if you can't find any cheap defenders from the other 17 sides in the Premier League. And he managed to get 2 goals and 6 assists last season in the Championship from 24 shots, 18 of them from inside the box, which is good for a defender having such high shots inside the box compared to shots. 8 of those were on target, 2 of which of course he converted. He had an expected goals of 2.94, which means he underperformed his expected goals, and big chances he created 6, as well as getting 12 clean sheets. Now that's a little bit more promising than Aston Villa as far as clean sheets are concerned, but of course the standard of football in the Premier League is going to be a big jump up, and I imagine that to drop down. So clean sheets maybe not what is expected from Norwich as they get promoted, but again we'll have to wait and see on that. And then if we go to Fantasy Football Fix website yet again, we can see that the average defensive radar, that actually looks pretty decent. Saves of course is always going to be down because he's not a goalkeeper, But then the rest, you can see that that is decent all the way around, except for potentially CBI, which is clearances, blocks and interception. However, contests he's very highly scored on. Unfortunately, fouls is a bit too high for my liking, and recoveries and tackles are decent as well. And then average distribution radar, I think this is where you're going to get the majority of points from Aarons if he does get attacking returns. You can see pass completion rate and touches is decent, which means he does get rather far forward every now and again. You can of course go into the statistics even more so. Defensive stats are there for you. Expected clean sheets for Norwich was actually 18.29, so expected clean sheets was higher than the clean sheets they actually got. And we can see of course there the number of recoveries, 254. That is his strength. Anyway guys, that is it for this episode on the Norwich players that I like the look of before they've even made any transfer moves. If you have enjoyed this video, do please consider liking the video, subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you know when my videos go live. The next video will hopefully be a Liverpool transfer targets video. And a quick side note, apologies that Carrasco wasn't as highly mentioned in the Arsenal one, but it seemed like that rumour had died out. And then of course as soon as I released the video, which was 2 days after I recorded it, Carrasco move seems back on. Hopefully the Liverpool video will call out the very first transfer to Liverpool, but we'll see how successful I am with that. And of course, we do get this week the football fixtures for the Premier League released, so we can finally start planning the teams that have a good run of fixtures in the beginning of the season that could have some differentials in them. So stay tuned to the channel for all of that. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.